Could deterrence itself become the new weapon of choice? It's a chilling question, one that defines the modern age of warfare. Today, conflicts are not always decided by missiles or tanks, but by the fear of what could happen if the trigger is pulled. And few examples capture this better than Venezuela's latest move, deploying one of Russia's most advanced air defense systems. When Russian-made Buk M2E launchers rolled into Venezuelan positions near Caracas, the message was crystal clear. Latin America's skies were no longer uncontested. In a region historically dominated by U.S. air power, Venezuela had just redrawn the map and done so with unmistakable Russian fingerprints. For decades, the skies over South America were considered a safe backyard for Washington. U.S. aircraft operated freely, and no regional force could realistically challenge them. But that was then. Now, with the arrival of Russian air defense systems, the balance of power in the hemisphere has started to shift. How close can a bomber fly before it becomes a threat? That question suddenly gained new meaning when U.S. B-1B Lancer bombers began conducting high-profile flights near Venezuelan airspace. To the U.S., it was just another routine patrol, a show of capability, nothing more. But for Caracas, it looked like a message written in jet exhaust. We can reach you whenever we want. And Venezuela, already under pressure from sanctions and political isolation, was not willing to remain defenseless. Let's remember what a B-1B represents. This isn't a training aircraft. It's a supersonic heavy bomber that can exceed Mach 1.2, flying thousands of kilometers without refueling, over 5,500 to be exact. It can carry up to 34 metric tons of destruction, including precision-guided bombs and long-range cruise missiles like the AGM-158 JASSM. In short, it's not a visitor, it's a potential threat vector. Each low-altitude run near Venezuelan borders mimicked the pre-attack flight patterns used in previous U.S. air campaigns, in Iraq, in Libya, and elsewhere. And to Venezuelan defense planners, that resemblance wasn't lost. The response came quickly. Venezuela repositioned its Buk M2E batteries to protect critical corridors: the Caracas-La Guaira axis, La Carlota airfield, and the Caribbean coast. These sites weren't chosen randomly. They guard the northern approach, the most likely route for any incursion by U.S. aircraft operating from Puerto Rico or Curaçao. Each radar array, each launcher, and each mobile command post now forms part of a carefully calculated defense network, a layered denial zone that dares any foreign pilot to test Venezuela's resolve. But what makes the Buk M2E such a game-changer? Technically speaking, it's a masterpiece of Russian engineering, an evolution of the Soviet-era Buk family modernized for the 21st century battlefield. It bridges the crucial gap between short-range systems like the Pechora 2M and the long-range S-300 VM, giving Venezuela the ability to counter multiple aerial threats simultaneously. Mounted on a high-mobility 9A317E tracked vehicle, the Buk can maneuver across rugged terrain with impressive speed. Within minutes, it can relocate, set up, and engage. This mobility is its survival instinct, making it incredibly difficult for enemy aircraft or missiles to destroy before it fires back. Its radar, the 9S-36, is a technological marvel, providing 360-degree coverage, tracking aircraft up to 120 kilometers away, and guiding 4 missiles at once. It's fast, adaptive, and deadly.
Working hand-in-hand with the 9S-18 M1-3 Snowdrift target acquisition radar, the system creates a web of detection that can see through electronic jamming, bad weather, or even mountainous terrain. The Snowdrift specializes in catching low-flying intruders, the kind of stealthy aircraft or cruise missiles that try to slip under the radar. Together, these components transform Venezuela's airspace into a virtual fortress. But this story isn't just about defense, it's about projection. Because when a Russian-made system shows up in Latin America, it carries with it something far more powerful than missiles: influence. This is Russia's forward defense doctrine at work. Moscow extends its reach not just through its own troops, but through its allies, embedding its technology, its doctrine, and its geopolitical presence thousands of kilometers from home. Every Buk launcher stationed in Venezuela is a reminder that Russia's shadow now stretches across the Western Hemisphere. When Caracas and Moscow renewed their strategic partnership in 2025, the timing was more than symbolic. Russia was under Western sanctions, bogged down in other theaters of conflict, and in need of a geopolitical victory. Venezuela, meanwhile, was isolated and under constant pressure. The Buk M2E became their handshake in steel, a partnership where both sides gained exactly what they needed. For Russia, it was about reach. For Venezuela, it was about survival. And the world took notice. Major air defense drills soon followed, showcasing how Venezuela's radar network and missile batteries could operate in perfect coordination. To observers, these weren't just military exercises, they were messages. The Buk's agility ensures that no enemy satellite or spy plane can ever fully map Venezuela's air defense grid. Its unpredictability forces US bombers and drones to alter their routes, increasing costs and risks. Even without firing a single shot, the system works as psychological warfare. The knowledge that a radar can lock on at any time, that one wrong turn could mean destruction, is often enough to deter aggression. That is deterrence in its purest form: power through uncertainty. Politically, this deployment is a statement of sovereignty. It tells the world, and especially Washington, that Venezuela is no longer an easy target. Any strike, no matter the justification, will meet resistance. Reports have already circulated that the US considered limited strikes on Venezuelan military facilities under the guise of countering cartel-linked operations, but now, such decisions are no longer simple. The Buk changes everything. Each plan must be reconsidered, each risk recalculated. And that hesitation, that moment of doubt, is the essence of deterrence. Because power doesn't always come from firing a missile. Sometimes it comes from making sure the other side never dares to fire first. Domestically, the deployment has had another effect. It's boosted morale among Venezuelans, reinforcing the image of a nation standing tall under pressure, determined to defend its skies no matter who threatens them. But on the global chessboard, the implications go much deeper. Has the Cold War truly ended? Or has it simply changed its coordinates? Today's power struggles are no longer fought with tanks on the ground, but with alliances, trade deals, and advanced weapon systems. Latin America, once seen as an American backyard, is becoming an arena where Moscow can test the boundaries of US dominance. Each Buk launcher, each radar site, each joint exercise between Russia and Venezuela sends a message that resonates far beyond the Caribbean. The balance of power is shifting. For Washington, this complicates every regional calculation. For Moscow, it's a brilliant strategic maneuver. And for Venezuela, it's a lifeline: survival, dressed in steel and wrapped in symbolism. A nation asserting its sovereignty not through words, but through the silent hum of Russian radar in the promise of retaliation. So the question remains: has deterrence become the real weapon of modern warfare? Share your thoughts below, and as always, thank you for watching.